What's up, you guys? Cece back with another video, and for today's video we're going to talk about how I'm entering my rich girl era circa 2025 in 2 easy steps. So we are going to do a no buy for 2025. First of all, I heard y'all laughing through the screen, and that's not how y'all supposed to act, okay? You don't know my life. You don't know my heart, okay? Because that might be the case. That is not the case, but that might have been the case, okay? And I expect y'all to be behind me, even when I'm talking nonsense, all right? No, seriously. So if you guys remember, if you've been following me, we attempted a low buy for 2024. I had my green products, which I knew I was going to buy. I had my yellow products, which were only supposed to be replacements. And then I had my red products, which I was not going to buy throughout the entire year. I don't think I lasted in any category from my 2024 low buy. I don't know. I don't think I lasted in any category, and I think that was gone by like the middle of the year. Yeah. Your girl's a chronic overspender. I've always been that way. It just is what it is. Then we had some unfortunate circumstances happen in 2023. My husband was laid off from his job. We became a one-income household for the entire year. It was actually very blissful in terms of having my husband home and, you know, just all the time we were able to spend together. But honestly, the way we like to spend money and go on trips and travel and things like that, a one-income household just isn't in the cards for us at the moment. So of course he had to go back to work in 2024, but with 2024 came 2023's debts, okay? We were living like we still had 2 incomes and we only had 1. If you've been around, you've heard this story before. So all of last year, we were hyper-focused on paying debt. And one of the things I wanted to do to make sure that I was doing my part plus some was go on a low buy so we have more money to throw at those debts that we had. Well, the low buy didn't happen, but the debt payoff was very successful. I will tell you that. I think we started with like 16 credit cards that had to be paid off. It was a lot, girl. We're down to the last 2. All right. They all had various amounts of debts on them. So, you know, it was nothing crazy like we owed $20,000 on one card or something. So some had very low amounts. Some had higher amounts. A lot were in the middle. And so we worked really hard on paying all of that down. And again, part of that was me also trying to say I wanted to do a low buy in order to throw more money at that debt. So again, that did not happen, but we still hit our goal and actually over our goal and paid off so much debt. And last year, it was just such a blessing. We cut back on the travel and everything and really, again, really hyper focused on that goal. So that brings us here, 2025. What is our plan for this year? I am a firm believer that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that includes with your finances. You have to have a plan for your money. Even if it's just a loose plan, you know, you got to have some kind of plan for your money or else you're going to spend it all. If you're me, if the money is sitting there, it's going to be spent, okay? It's going to be spent. If it don't have a place to go, if it don't have a home, your girl gonna spend it. So let me tell you a little bit about how I am going to be a rich girl in 2025 and how you can too. So what's the plan? I only got 2 steps. 2 things. So the first thing is to curb my spending. Now, I'm not calling it a low buy. I'm not calling it a no buy, but I definitely want to curb my spending. So you guys know I'm married. All of our finances are combined. We do not have separate accounts. I know a lot of people have feelings surrounding that. A lot of people, y'all got his, hers, joint. We ain't got that. Everything is together. Everybody's name is on every account. That is how we like it. That's what works best for us. So in order to really think about, you know, my personal spending, that all kind of coagulates with the family spending, and if I spend more, my husband has to spend less, all of that. So everything goes into one pot. So I've been talking about this for a while. Something that we decided to implement a few months ago that has really been so helpful to not only put us on a little spending budget, but also feel like it gives us just a bit of autonomy when we are spending. We don't have to worry about what the other person might think about this purchase or anything like that. Is to put ourselves on an allowance. Now, I know that sounds weird. It sounds restrictive. We're grown, obviously. What grown person puts themselves on an allowance? But we have. So our number is $200 a week. If you want to implement this, your number can be whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. You have to be able to base it off your goals and how much disposable income you have and all of that. So we did an entire calculation, and $200 a week just felt right. It felt like enough money where you didn't feel restricted in what you had to buy, but it also wasn't just an excessive amount that we're like, we could be paying off so much debt with this, and we could be putting away and investing for this, and we could be doing this and doing that. It feels like a doable amount every week to get in our spending accounts. And with that allowance, we also created ourselves separate spending accounts within our bank account. So we just opened 2 separate bank accounts under the umbrella of our main bank account. And so my husband has his spending account, I have my spending account, and we can go swipe away with that money that we get weekly. This is an automatic payment to our spending accounts that we just have complete control over to go crazy with. Now, if you know me, you know $200 a week I can go through, okay? I can go through that pretty easily and quickly. I really can. And let me just clarify, this is not for any household spending. This is like if I bought a new pot for the kitchen, that would not come out of my personal spending. This is stuff that strictly he'll use or strictly I'll use. That is what we're using our spending accounts for. So nothing for the kids, nothing for like household items. It's strictly for personal things that we want that the other person isn't necessarily going to buy or don't want or don't need or whatever. So again, I can go through $200 a week. So when I say curb my spending, that is what I mean. Like, I'm still restricting myself to that number, but it's enough to where I don't feel like I don't want to do this because it's just way too restrictive. And I think you just have to find that number for yourself and do a trial and error. I thought I would hate it, but I've actually been loving this allowance idea. And I don't know what to really call it, but spending amount or fun money or whatever you want to call it. I feel like calling it an allowance, people like look at me crazy like, you put yourself on an allowance? But no, it's really been helping me stick within budget. We have had more excess money in our main spending account than we have ever had, just because we're not just swiping for personal things, family things, and everything, and really not understanding the gravity of where all of our money is going. So this has been so helpful. And if you're looking for a way to maybe even whether you want to gain a little bit of independence from your partner, if you're married, or if you're just like, I just need to really put myself on this budget so I can really stick with it and have money to do the things that I want to do. I think this is such a great idea, and I have been an advocate for it ever since we started. It's teaching me more so discipline than restriction. So step number 2 for us has been deciding what is important to us. So I'm a firm believer you cannot tackle debt, savings, investing, wanting to plan a trip, saving for something else specific, some new furniture. You cannot tackle all of that at one time. If you're just spinning your wheels if you do that, because all of the money that you're putting little by little into each account, you could be putting all of that into one account, be done with it, and then move on to the next. Be done with it, move on to the next. Not only, in my opinion, is that a better method, but it also gives you a little dopamine hit when instead of being nowhere near your goal for 6 different goals, You finished off this goal, you can now put it out of your mind, move on to the next. Finish off that one, move on to the next. Our brains can only process but so much at one time. And so when you complete something, I think that's why to-do lists are so great. You can just like check it off, and it makes you feel so good because it makes you feel like you've accomplished something. So I'm a big fan that you got to figure out what's important to you and then move in that order. So like I said, last year, debt payoff was the thing. Debt payoff was so important to us. And so we did the thing, right? So now this year in 2025, we have way less debt. And so our focus is to pay off the last bit of debt and then move into completely rebuilding our emergency fund. So our goal is to have 6 months worth of expenses, living the way we're living right now, not bare minimum expenses, but 6 months worth of expenses, living the way we currently are living, household life, nothing has to change. That is the number that we are aggressively going for by the end of 2025. We just want to make sure that that is in place again. We had that in place before the layoff, and now we're getting back to that space. And so getting back to that space is super important for us, and that is what we're going to be working toward this year. I'm also going to be implementing a few rules for my spending, even though obviously I'm not saying that I have a restriction on my spending as long as I'm spending within my allowance limit. But I do want to put a few restrictions just as some fun challenges. One, just because if I want to spend my money, I want to spend it on things that I'm actually going to use, actually going to love, actually feel like I really, really want, rather than a bunch of stuff that I'm going to use one time and not use again, right? So I want to make sure that I'm spending my money wisely, but I also am on this mission to really declutter my life. And I will never be a minimalist by any means. I've never thought that. I will never be a minimalist. It's just not me. It's not who I am. It is what it is. But I do have a lot of things that I know I need to declutter, and having so much stuff really takes a toll on your mind, and I feel like it helps keep your mind cluttered, and that's not what I want. This year, my goal is to really be net negative on stuff. So I will purchase things, but as I purchase things, I want to also be purging more than what I'm bringing in. So I do have a few rules that I've written down here that I'm going to read to you guys that we're going to follow this year. If you have any rules, let us know down below what type of financial rules you are following, but here are mine. Beauty products, that includes makeup, hair, skincare, body care, all of that. I am only going to replace those products. So that means if I run out of something, of course, I'll buy it again, or before I buy something, I have to get rid of it. That is mostly in the makeup. For the skincare and body care, I'm going to try to use up the products that I have, and then I will replace those products. But for makeup, if I am bringing in something, I need to declutter something. I have enough makeup where I can do that. So if something comes in, something needs to go out. Like my foundations, I have my foundations sitting on my desk over here, and they sit on the top in my little makeup case on the top. And I said to myself, once that is full, I cannot buy another foundation. Your girl ordered another foundation today, and it's completely full. So something gotta go when that new foundation comes in. So I'll keep you guys updated on that in my vlogs, but yeah, replacement only for beauty products. No notebooks, no planners, unless my planner is completely used up. I actually did good with that last year, and I did not buy a new planner until July when my planner was completely filled up. So I'm gonna stick with that same thing. I don't need any new notebooks. I don't need any new planners. Clothing is another thing that I only want to do replacements with. So if I buy a pair of jeans gotta go, okay? If I buy a shirt, another shirt gotta go. A pair of sweats gotta go. And we're gonna stick with that this year because I have way too many clothes, and I need to go through and declutter, like do an initial declutter for 2025, and then I wanna keep going with the replacements. Gym clothes, just underclothes, gym clothes. Yeah, I don't want to buy any gym clothes. And if I buy something else gotta go. Press-ons, y'all. I have 3 full drawers over here, just full of all types of press-ons. 3 full drawers. those are a no buy. Those are not on a replacement. Those are a no buy. No press-ons whatsoever. Keep me honest, y'all. Perfumes are another thing. I have to use up a perfume before I purchase more. I have a lot of perfumes over here, and so it's gonna be by replacement only. Even when I use them up, I really am not going to need a new perfume. But if I am going to buy one, I have to use up one. Electronics. Tech gadgets are my thing, y'all. They really are. I love tech gadgets so much. And so it's very hard for me not to purchase tech gadgets. But what I've done, so I purchased a new camera for YouTube. I cannot wait to unbox it. I purchased a new camera for like vlogging, and I am actually selling 2 of my other cameras that I don't really use. So I think that is how I'm going to play that. If I'm going to buy something, I need to sell something in return so that I'm not just hoarding all of these items that I hardly get use out of. Water bottles and mugs. No buy. If anything, a replacement, but a no buy. I don't need any more water bottles, any more mugs. Same with purses. Purses are going to be another replacement. I really want to say no buy, but I can't commit to that. So I will say a replacement for any bags. So if I don't want to get rid of any of the ones I have, I can't buy any. I also don't want to do stockpiling this year, so I don't care how good of a sale it is. I don't need to buy 10 of them. That don't make no sense. I don't care how good of a sale it is. We don't need to buy 10 of anything. So no stockpiling this year. And then lastly, I do want to try to again read through my home library. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I'm not going to buy any books, because I probably will buy some books this year. However, I need to read through read through the physical books that I have. Just to keep making space for the ones that I'm going to buy. So I do want to read through my home library this year, because I read them and then I do donate them to either family or friends, or yeah, whoever wants them, honestly. So that's that. Okay, girls, so like I said, that is how we are going to enter our rich girl era. It's very simple. It only takes 2 steps, okay? You need to get yourself a little discipline. All right. And then decide on what's important and attack it as hard as you can. That is my plan for 2025. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you a little inspiration. Let me know what your financial plans are for 2025. I'd love to take some inspiration from you guys. You guys are always so knowledgeable, teaching me so much stuff in the comments and teaching each other so much stuff. So I'd love to see the conversation continue down there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.